pool variables that you define. So the pool variables have the name of the C type, and as a value they have the matching name on the smalltalk side, or an alias.
And
That native boost calls
CM type,
knows all.
the CM type you define it in the...
No, esos heredan
okay.
the same external object.
So if you
Entonces sabe que en
wonder
realidad
how it
este
works,
objeto tiene un puntero al objeto en C.
go for the
puede pasar self.
implementers of
Cuando vos le
as
pasas un external object, le llamamos el puntero que tiene ese objeto. Sí, o sea, ustedes
so if
publican
you,
tienen un puntero.
really
Es un
want to
objeto
know the
externo.
details. A special implementer of the in the symbol class.
There is string.
It's this column. For string? Yeah. But symbol is plus three.
No, I don't want to see that. Okay, so you have a pool that is CM type that is used in the
In a native call, if you write CM space, which we had just before, native boost will know that matches the CP space, and so on and so on. And the IDR,
So it means that it works both ways.
it works both ways, and so I probably did it wrongly in the image,
So like that?
but you are supposed to use the C1 even in the native calls.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Like that you can replace, you can change your mind and map the C type to a different class if you want to try different implementations.
Yeah.
And if
That's
you're
nice.
in source, how it works? Fields.
That comes after that.
Ah.
Okay, so this is just a mapping of names. There is no marshalling or whatever specified there.
Just like aliases, right? So you can say, okay, this name is the same as this name.
Okay. So this one, maybe it comes a bit early. I'm not sure, but that was a fun
Yes.
find. So if you go to CM space and the prim gravity method, which is basically the accessor that changes the gravity in a simulation space, the native call is actually indirect call, and that is not native boost method.
What do you mean by this?
It's not an
It's not
API
given by native boost. It should be, but it should. Or it should be. I'm not even sure because it's a bit.
Yeah, there is
Not
an
specific.
API, but it's not specific.
So yeah, this is funny because if you go to the documentation of Chipmunk, it says there is a CP space set gravity function that takes this and this argument, but they don't tell you that there is an underscore, and that they don't tell you that it's a special method or whatever. But we have to do this. So why? Just go look for the implementers of indirect call. My question is, what the hell does this do? And why was it needed? Yeah, you know, of course. Don't ask Esteban because...
Sí, pero no encuentro. Está esto definido.
Okay, so if you do implementers, you should find some really nice code that looks like what I will show up now.
To me, it seems that the indirect call method is lacking a real command. I don't know to you, but that's my impression. You
The
know?
comment is in the slides. I didn't want to spoil you.
Huh? Igor? So,
Send that.
it's not native boost?
Yeah, it's
It's chipmunk.
the code is also
Ah.
This is the Chipmunk. So if you want to have a look,
The address of
go to a terminal and do nm and the name of the library.
NM what?
nm.
Do it.
Where's my terminal? There.
What is
So if you just do it, nm is the command that gives you the list of all symbols in the library.
Okay, NM and
Okay.
the achievement. What is the name of the
And if you filter that to only show the method, which I don't remember how it's called, of course. CP space set gravity.
Non, c'est plutôt de montrer. Ouais, c'est de Sherlock. Bon, alors on va essayer de comprendre comment ça a été fait. Ouais, je trouve ça bien.
Okay.
Vraiment, je trouve ça bien.
So the library
It's
gives you
static.
CP space set.
the documentation tells you there is a CP space set gravity function without the underscore.
Yeah.
But if you look in the library,
You have
it's there. You have two, and one has the single underscore and one has the double underscore because the programmers like.
No, but look at the types of these things, right?
Yes.
That one is initialized data, and the other one is a function, but it's a static function.
Yeah.
Because you have a lowercase t, so it's not even exported.
I don't know because that was not in the man page of NN. The
Well, that's
small
all
t-
internal, right? All of these things, those are internal. Those are supposed to be internal.
Yeah. So the explanation that I found there. Oops. So if you go look for things in Chipmunk, there is a file called chipmunks _ffi.h, which defines you will see that most of the accessors are inline in C. And when you have an inline function in C, it's not made available in the library. Inline function means it's just the code of the function is just copy pasted inside at each code.
So what you are saying is that
Place.
basically, from that perspective, the Chipmunk API sucks.
No, that's a fundamental.
Not in small.
That's a fundamental trouble with
okay,
FFIs.
because you see it as a method. Programming that is inline,
Everywhere.
so you cannot see it outside. But if you are doing the programming C, it's perfect. Okay.
Yes. So
Okay, so this means that they have a C API for programming in C and not for other languages. Okay.
No, but that's
So they needed-
the digit when you activate the flag to compile the library, you need -df5 blah blah, and it means that this macro
this activates
will be
yeah.
executed and will ensure that the inline function will be exported in the library.
So they needed to make some functions inline for performance reasons, I guess,
Okay.
or because they are really small, like accessors, like set and get and whatever.
No, that's a nice.
They needed to make them inline, which was nice, but meant that so in the source code you have a nice the constructor for a vector is called CPD and it takes x and y and it's an inline function. So you have a nice inline function that is fast, but is not visible outside the library. And using this magical macro, they make a pointer to the same code, which this time is exported. So
they export
You have the choice
function
between the
itself,
original
but
name
variable which holds
but
the
you
pointer
can't call
to
it.
the function.
or the new name with an underscore, which is not a function, but it's a function pointer, and this one you can access it from outside the library. Okay? And the problem is, if you use nbcall, it doesn't expect a function pointer. So indirect call is just this. If you look at the actual code, there are 3 big parts. There's one part that does a get symbol address, which
So it's basically DLSIM.
yes, probably. I'm really a newbie in this layer. And then there's another part that does what is the 32-bit value at this address, So indirect a pointer, follow the pointer, and then we get the address, we put it in register AX, and we call that. So, and if you compare this one to the NB call, or to the bottom method that NB call does, it's the same minus the middle part. So yeah, and Chipmunk, I think it's quite clean code. It was easy.
So I started added the new API for native boost, so we don't need to hack anymore. Just provide your custom function point.
I guess
Way how you get it from the library or somewhere else, you just say, I want to make a call with this signature, and here my block which resolves into function, into pointer to the function. So it just inlines this pointer to call directly.
Okay. And I think there are some libraries that like to use double pointers instead of single ones for memory management purposes, and that would be the same. You would need to use the first address and indirect twice instead of once to use the data.
So it actually patches the text?
What?
So it actually patches the address of the jump, like in the actual translated code.
Generates code to jump to that address.
Right. How do you remember what the address of that is? Like if you have to relink it down the road.
You just
You don't?
generate new code if you want to.
Oh, okay. So you just
Just
keep
throw
going.
away the old version of the because just one method.
right. You throw away the whole end method. Okay.
Okay, so now for let's have a look at how to do data structures. So in NativeBoost there are two sides for what is a data structure in C. There is the NB external structure class, which maps most closely to a C struct. So basically there is no, it's like an object, but there is no encapsulation. You can access all fields read write. You know all the sizes of all fields and whatever. So it's really a white box. And these, I have the impression that they are often used as they can be used as values on the C side, and they tend to be used this way. The other part is NB external object, and this one is for opaque types. So an opaque type means you don't know the layout of the data, and you are forced to use accessors. And of course, if you don't know the layout, you can pass them by value, and you have to pass them by pointer all the time. So let's start with the simplest ones and write a data structure from scratch. So in the code there is a class named CMVector, so you forget that it exists.
We remove it?
The problem is if you remove it, then you break the demo, so
Okay.
it's not fun.
So what should we do?
Do a new one called CMVector2.
So CMVector 2. Yeah.
And we are not going to implement it completely, just the basis.
Okay.
The basic part. You can compare after that.
So what is the superclass? Structure.
Yeah, so there is. Yeah. As usual. So first step when you want to define a data structure in NativeBoost is to go look at the C code and see what the hell this is looking like. So in Chipmunk there was where is it? There. What? Oh, it's in syntax. Okay. So in Chipmunk, if you look for typedef and cpvect, you find these two definitions. And apparently on macOS and iOS and whatever, the Cocoa gives them a point that works like they want, so they use this directly. Otherwise, they define a data structure that has x and y as floats, and the typedef it has cpvect type.
But for example, in that case, when we wrap the stuff, we will have to pay attention that this is working on Mac or on Linux.
Always.
Yes, you have to know the layout, and you have to pay attention to. So in this case, what this means is
Welcome to C.
when we have a cpvect, it means that basically that's 64 bits, and the first 32 are x, and the last 32 bits are y.
So, but just that I understand. So this means that if now I am on Mac and I use the else part, it will not work.
Probably still, because I would guess that the CG point is x and y as well. But you never know.
So in that case, you do what? You use the platform code for doing that?
You just find where the difference.
You have to compile your library in a particular mode that gives you the layout.
Yeah.
So once we have this, we find this in the C code. Hello. So we can define a new class that will be in that will represent in the Smalltalk word our data structure. So in Storm, there is a common superclass that factors a bit of code, but usually it's NB external structure. So we can call it CMVector2, put it in a tutorial category or whatever. Doesn't really matter. And it has no instance variables. At least at the moment. And then on the class side, too many animations here. Right. We just need to declare the format, basically, to describe the format of the data. So it's a method called fields_desc that returns an array of a bit like the function signatures, cp_float_x, cp_float_y.
So this again made that basically in most cases you can just copy and paste the C structure definition into between the brackets.
CMVector2. Slide. And we return a
Disk. But why the semicolon? In the definition there was a semicolon after the X. Is this used as separator or what is used for the semicolon?
Yes,
I guess it's just ignored by the parser.
No. No.
I don't remember.
No, it's just a,
Basically,
yeah, just open an inspector on this, then you see.
on the array,
Yeah, I guess there is
On
going
the
to be
arrow,
a
the
hash
semicolon
X
becomes a symbol
semicolon.
separate.
So, but Igor already told it's a kind of
You have
separator.
cp_float, x, semicolon.
Yeah.
So if you go look at the code, actually there is double mismatch to do the parsing. So you could pass any object that answers the parsing
What parse
method.
it does is just collapses all the symbols into one string and then parse it as a string.
And then you get is it fndesk or something like you,
Yeah,
you,
it's
get
separate.
an abstract class, a class that describes view format, an object format.
Okay.
So this is just a syntax to be,
Just
so that you can
close
copy
to
paste
C,
it.
that you don't have to rewrite the C definition.
Yeah.
And because it's error prone. So the intent was to take the C definition, copy and paste instead of retyping it, because it's a source of mistakes.
Mm.
so once you have this,
And your superclass structure has access to the tool. Okay.
yes, indeed. So then you could, I guess you could define these accessors by hand, but there is some nice magic that we will do it. Since it's a structure, there is no encapsulation, so we just generate read and write accessors for everything.
So let's see it.
Initialize accessors.
Generate the code non-existing package.
What?
No, the package where it created.
Not there.
On n'arrive pas à le débugger.
Bah, là, c'est à chaque fois.
One class.
Ah ouais?
Ah, moi aussi, je l'ai eu.
Bah oui, mais la merde.
Bah, là, il est open to
So in fact it's not necessary to do it manually, because on the first attempt to use the Duke, it has the GNU handler which checks if the accessor matches the name of the Duke and then generates those methods.
So there is metamagic.
Yeah. So you can just instantiate this class, create the instance, and inspect it, and we will see that it will immediately create the
Okay. So basically, you have the basic structure, and what is, if you compare the CM vector to CM vector 2 that we just did, the rest is constructor methods to pass to build a new vector with initial argument in conversion from and to points. So this is just simple smart code.
External object.
So for objects, it's mostly the same, except the C side enforces encapsulation. We don't know the layout. So we just have a pointer to some part of memory, and we don't know what size it is. So we will do the same with CM shape, and this slide is wrong. So CM shape in Storm is the wrapper for CP shape in Chipmunk. So it's basically the same. Instead of CM external structure, we will use CM external object. And we define a CM shape too. And when we go look in the C code, so we have a function named CP circle shape new, that builds a new, that allocates and builds a new circle shape. Yeah, it will it will return us a pointer because it's an opaque type. It will return us a pointer to the actual CP shape built, and it requires as arguments a body, which is the rigid body onto which we stick the shape, and then since it's a circle, the radius and the visual offset of the center from the center of gravity of the body. that's a constructor. It will return you an instance of a circle shape, and you don't have to know what a circle shape is. So we just do a class side method that looks like a Smalltalk constructor and instead calls the primitive call. So there, the same as before, the radius in Smalltalk, it could be any kind of number, or it could be even some random object. So we convert it as a float, because we know native Boost can convert the floats. And the same, the offset, since we are in Smalltalk, there is a good chance that we will pass a point. So we convert it as a native CM vector. Okay? And this, if you don't do it, I missed it in the previous slide, the Smalltalk code has the responsibility to enforce type. So you have to do static typing not static typing, but you have to convert all your Smalltalk objects back to values that native Boost can mark up. Yeah, that the function expects. Native Boost only handles the representation translation, or you have a Smalltalk object that wraps some bytes, and it will take the bytes and pass them instead of your Smalltalk object. So that's something that we see often, is that we have a method that calls basically the same we screened before. Okay, we have a user a public method that calls a private one, which is the actual primitive call, and the primitive call is a bit less safe to call. So this one we just do the primitive call and then we initialize the Smalltalk part.
This was in shape or in...
Yeah, in CM shape 2. Okay, so now I will show the prim CP shape new radius offset one. So it's a primitive method as usual, and there we can call the CB one that I showed before, and this one is a NB call and not a NB indirect call because it was not in the library. So you have half. It's the same. You have half of the call that are indirect call and half of them which are normal calls. And you have to go see you have to go read the C code to know which one is it. So starting from that, should probably go back. So on Chipmunk there are a few basic shapes that you can create. So this is the circle, there is a line segment, boxes, and one that is interesting is polygons. So if you want to create a polygon, it's a bit different because the C function expects an array of vertices. I will go look in the equivalent to the circle constructor that we were just looking at. For polygons, it's a function called polyshapeNew. So it wants the body that you decorate with the shape, a number of points, of vectors which are the vertices of the polygon, an array of vertices, because arrays in C don't know their size, and on the right, again an offset, which is that a visual offset of the relative to the position of the body itself. And then we have the problem that we need to pass an array as an argument. Otherwise, it could be the same the same thing. So this is really similar to the circle one. We do a public method which will take a Smalltalk body, a collection of vertices. It's Smalltalk, so we don't know if it will be an ordered collection or an array or whatever. And then a point or a vector as the offset. And we will need somehow to convert the Smalltalk hull vertices to a C array that we can pass the size and the address in the native code. And unfortunately, I think this slide is not complete, so we'll go back to the one where it's special. Okay, so you have the new polygon body and the prim CP polygon new. So the native call is just what you would expect. Yeah, there is this is the native call into the C method. So there is a trick there, which I'm still not clear about. This is amazing. So in the C code, this is supposed to be CP vect star vertices.
So yes, I can explain that if you specify the structure name, then the marshalling code will expect that you pass an instance, because it's a pointer to the structure, and actually the marshalling by default expects the instance. So when you pass something else like array of it will just refuse to call the method and fail, because it will expect the instance of CM vector.
So yeah, if I do that, for native boost, this is a single vector that I pass by address.
Yeah. So
and that's
this
not
is
what we want.
Different. So that's why we use just generic pointer type to say that take any pointer which you provide, any buffer or external
And it's not really a problem, because if C was statically typed, we would know it again. So yeah, it's just an address and we pass it. But I think it's a bit confusing as well between an array. Is it a pointer or is it a big value? So I never know at this. And
why didn't you make up any time up? You could just name any type to make it less ambiguous, because white pointer is just everything.
Yeah, but
it's
it's
in any
not
point.
an any, it's a pointer.
Yeah.
Any point.
Yeah, but it sounded like you have semantics to handle it like a list later on. So
yeah, but the semantics is just nothing. We have an address, we pass it as is, there is no translation. We know it's 32 bits,
okay.
so we don't care. It's not the array that we pass, it's the address of the array. So this, we know it's always
And the array is already prepared for the native
and
ladder.
there we just want to
Yeah, that's what the
Okay.
void star is for.
Yeah. But I didn't know what they give to, what structure they give to
Yeah,
the native side. So.
I mean, if you are used to Java or languages which have tight collections, then this is confusing because.
And for the CM body and CM vector, you could use the lowercase, right? Because you mapped it.
Yeah, of course, and I should actually. So that would be CP body and CP vect there. So that was that's what I was saying before. If you use the C1s, then you have the liberty to change the mapping and to try different implementations for the same
And then you
data
can just
structure.
copy paste from the
Also
C.
the- So I don't know. I started putting the Smalltalk ones because I thought it was nicer in Smalltalk. Not
But
what
that's
you
what comes late.
So what do we, the last part is how do we build a C array basically. And I think I will just copy paste it from the code.
This is on the spot slide creation.
Can we fix copy paste in Afterworld please? This is not really. Something like that.
Yeah.
So usually what this is something I added the array class. There is a where is it? The sim vector. No, this one array class. So what you would have to do is to instantiate NB external array. Tell it you are of type, your elements are of this type. And you would have to do it.
This is not instantiation, this creates a new hidden class.
Yeah, true. Yeah, or you would have to do your own subclass. So basically you get a special array class to contain only elements of the type that you pass. And this class will know the size of its elements, which is what the C side requires. Okay. So I did this, which is just I have an instance variable, and I create the anonymous class. I create it only once instead of at each call, which would be a bit expensive. So and then once you have the array class, the special array class for the vector, you can instantiate one of the size that you need. Then you copy. Your vertices inside it, converting them to actual vectors instead of points or other small talk values inside it. And of course this changed the layout. I think I have everything there. Yes. Okay. And then we can pass it to the primitive. So either the size as the first argument and the address of the array as the second one. So that still means you have to copy all elements each time you pass an array.
Well, if you can manage to prepare or prepare always,
You have to pay attention to that.
that's the conversion you need to do here, because you're not using the CM vectors as the
From the start.
because you could, instead of using like ordered collection or something, instantiate this CM vector array class and populate with the values from the very start. You don't need this conversion.
If you can be sure that there will be only CM vectors in your code, or that everything that enters your code is converted to CM vectors. Okay. So no callbacks, sorry. Just quickly, in Chipmunk there are four types of callbacks that you can define that get called when two shapes overlap, when just before the bump, the contact resolution, just after, and when the overlap stops. And basically a callback, it's just a block plus a wrapper that will define the actual signature of the block, because it's the same as for functions. So you have to create a subclass of an NBFFI callback, define FN spec, give the C signature, and that's all. You do to do So for each of the 4 callbacks, I have a class. For the begin callback, I have a CM collision begin on my block that just does smalltalk stuff. And at the point where I set the callback, I just disappear as well. I have exactly the same as a pre-solved callback, post-solved callback, separate callback, and so on. And if you want to try this this version, it should be active in the image, and I hope it works. So you remove the slopes, or you take the superclass of the example. You will open a translate, which is already. So you have both, you have the polygons there.
Ouais, c'est ok là.
Now it works. And you still have really fun problems like the polygons. Chipmunks wants them in wants the vertices in clockwise or counterclockwise.
And convex.
Yeah, and convex. And of course, if you don't pass a set of points that is in clockwise order, your image does, and you can start again. So you learn to do save. Do a change, and so on. This is really actually there's a couple functions that take a set of points and will beat the convex hull in the correct orientation and so on, but they are not bad. It should be quite easy.